This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Guardian Radio Today is brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic and Printmasters.
Yes, sir.
We in the house. Yeah. It's strictly for my people right here. Nobody else. So if you don't get it, don't worry about it. Here we go. I do it for my people, like David the Goliath. Off with your head. Everybody start a riot. Sick and tired of excuses. All you really needed was food, clothing, shelter. My people at the exit with that cardboard sign. The world still a ghetto, and we know it's by design. Ambition in my eyes, like Roscoe P. Go train, my haters look surprised. Surprise, like cream of the crop, see I rise. I still found truth, even though you lied. They tried and tried, but we didn't die, we multiplied. Like I from my people, sometimes they act like beasts. Who raised you mothers, killing your own in the streets? Oh, I forgot you don't care. That's right, you don't think until they give you that chip.
Every time I write, it be all about people.
And welcome to another edition of Guardian Radio Today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Henness III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. I'm happy to be here with you on another Tuesday, and it's hot, so make sure you drink your water, make sure you stay cool, stay hydrated. It is the 9th day of June, wow, and I'll be with you until the 4 o'clock hour. When the phone lines do open, the numbers are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, the family of violence, 242-300-5720. The Guardian Radio text line is powered by BTC. That's 422-4796. You can also stay up with us by way of streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com or Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Join the Jeannie Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for Hope Walk 2026, Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay Park. Walk in honor of a survivor, in memory of a loved one, or simply to support those facing cancer today. Register now at gdcancersupportgroup.com. That's gdcancersupportgroup.com. That's June 13th is the actual walk, so make sure you register and get involved. Today, Awakening the Genius. Education, empire, and the future of Bahamian men. Now, what are we talking about? Why is this show important? What prompted this show? I was listening, as I'm sure many of you were, to the news yesterday, and I saw and heard a clip that was very troubling to me, and as I'm sure it's troubling to many other people. I'm sure other people may have spoken on it today. I wanted to address it, but I want, Mr. Producer, if you have that clip ready for me, I want to play that clip, and then I want to dive into this reality of awakening the genius, education, empire, and the future of Bahamian men. Let's hear the clip, please.
We have a serious problem in the Bahamas today. The uniformed branches cannot find qualified males to join the ranks. The police, defense forces, customs, immigration. It is now apparent that only females now are meeting the necessary requirements, and so it goes back to schooling and training. I would applaud the parents of these young to ensure that your children get the proper education while they're in school.
Now, let me say I agree wholeheartedly with the final conclusive comment being made there. Excuses for Bahamian men. That's not what the show is about. But it's very important that when we have these type of discussions, that we contextualize the discussions. So a kind of sub-question or a subtopic is, are our young men unqualified, or is the education system underserving them? Again, not giving excuses. You should study. You should do your schoolwork. But there's a reason why this is happening. And to just simply say, go to school and not pay attention to what else is happening borders on irresponsibility. So I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. Not if you're driving, but if you could close your eyes, right? Picture a young man. Maybe he's your son. Maybe he's your nephew. Maybe he's your student. The boy who used to sit next to you in church. Any young man that you could remember. And ask yourself this question: is he qualified for the job market? Not just does he have a piece of paper, is he truly ready to build a life, support a family, contribute to this nation? I want to pause for a second to just congratulate my son, Adisa. Adisa graduated yesterday, Bahamas Homeschool Association. I'm grateful for you being in existence. As I'm one of those parents. So my wife and I, we homeschool. But Adisa graduated, and he also, he and my godson and others, but my godson Nafair, right? They graduated from the Gentlemen's Club on the weekend, so I want to congratulate them. So in the midst of us having this conversation, I'm one of the people, I agree with what was said in that clip. Parents gotta be on top of the boys, but I understand there's a greater conversation underneath it. I also want to give a big shout out to all of the residents over there at the corrections facility over in Fox Hill. I did promise that I would shout y'all out, and I'm living up to my promise. I pray that y'all are, making the best of your situation, and I'll see y'all again soon. And congratulations to all of the graduates. I've been seeing different graduation, prize given, congratulations. So, again, this show is not about making excuses for the black, especially the black men. But we got to contextualize it. So you could have a piece of paper. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're qualified for the job market. And many of these young men, unfortunately, aren't even getting that piece of paper. If you're like most Bahamians, the answer to the question of whether or not they are qualified, it troubles you. Because too many of our young men are being left behind. And we've been taught to blame them, their effort, their intelligence, their attitude. But today, I am going to ask you to consider a different possibility. Or another possibility. What if the problem isn't our young men? What if the problem is the education system itself? A system that was never designed for their success in the first place. So today we're going to talk about colonial education, Caribbean underdevelopment, and what it will truly take to awaken the national genius of our children. And I want you to stay with me for a second, because when you ignore this conversation, the behavior that we see being displayed in the House of Parliament, it trickles Parliament. I ain't getting into that right now. But some of the behavior that you see comes right from what we're talking about right now. So let's start with the facts. Across the Bahamas, too many young men are leaving school without the qualifications they need to enter the job market. Or worse, leaving with no qualifications at all. The GLAT, the BJC, the BGCSC, these exams become walls at the time. And here's what we're told. They're lazy. They don't study. They don't care. But I want to introduce you again, as I've done before, to a different voice. His name is Dr. Amos Wilson. Look him up, Dr. Amos Wilson, the late, great Dr. Amos Wilson. He was a psychologist, a professor, and the author of a book called Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children. And Dr. Wilson says something very radical in this read. He says that the major function of education is not job preparation. The major function of education is not job preparation. It's not moving up the social ladder. The major function of education is, and I quote, to help secure the survival of a people. To help secure the survival of a people. Think about that for a moment. If I have to ask, who is surviving under our current system? Who is thriving? Who is being left to fail? Dr. Wilson argues that black children are born with remarkable potential. Pay attention to this now. He cites research showing that African infants sit up, crawl, walk, and solve problems months earlier than their European counterparts. He says, and I quote again, the black child is not a white child painted black. The black child is not a white child painted black. But here's the tragedy. The natural head start, that genius, is too often extinguished by the time our children reach third grade. Because we treat the black child as if it's a white child painted black. We give them the same education system that was designed for the white child, the European child. Because the education system is not designed for them, it's designed for someone else. Now, the history, how Britain underdeveloped the Caribbean. So this is more than just about schools. This is more than just about the Ministry of Ed. This is more than just about the minister. This is more than just about the teachers. This goes a little deeper than that. All right? So I want to introduce you to someone else to understand why our education system looks the way it does. We got to go way back. We turn to another scholar by the name of Sir Hilary Beckles. He's a Barbadian, a historian, and he wrote a book called How Britain Underdeveloped the Caribbean, a reparation response to Europe's legacy of plunder and poverty. Beckles makes a powerful argument. He says that the Caribbean economy was, and I quote, invented, structured, and managed by European states for one purpose, to achieve maximum wealth extraction. Maximum wealth extraction. That means the system was never designed to develop our people. It was designed to take from our people, our labor, our resources, our land, our dignity. And here's where it connects to education. Beckles documents how in the 1950s, West Indian leaders, including the Nobel Prize winning economist Sir Arthur Lewis, £1 to develop the region. This was to build the West Indies Federation, a united Caribbean nation that would stand on its own feet. Look that up, the West Indies Federation. But what did Britain do? They refused. Not only did they refuse, they actively encouraged the richer colonies, Jamaica and Trinidad, to break away from the poorer ones. They told them, quote unquote, go it alone. Go it alone. And when the Federation collapsed, Britain shrugged and blamed Caribbean disunity. Beckles calls this federation without funding. And he sees it as part of a long pattern. Britain suppressed Marcus Garvey's movement for black unity. It sent warships to crush labor uprisings in the 1930s. It gave development money to its Asian colonies through the Colombo Plan while starving the Caribbean. So in one instance, they found the money for certain colonies, some Asian colonies, and in our instance, no, we didn't get it. So the message was clear. The Caribbean must remain dependent. The Caribbean must remain weak. Now, fast forward to today. What kind of education system would you expect to find in a place that was deliberately underdeveloped? A system that produces workers, not leaders. A system that rewards obedience, not critical thinking. A system that teaches British history, British literature, British values, while barely mentioning the heroes of our own people. Now, we have made some strides under the great Glennis Anna Martin and producing a history text that, again, it's a start. It's a start. But again, you don't start learning history at that level until grade 10, when most of the damage has been done. And that's not her fault. She did the best that she could do. And we have to do more. So let's look at the mechanisms, the GLAT, the BJC, the BGCSC, because in a couple of weeks now, we can be talking about what the grade average is. All right, let's get specific. Let's talk about the exams. The GLAT, the grade level assessment test, is actually a Bahamian-made test. I remember when I was younger, I think it was probably coming from the U.S., but now it's a Bahamian-made test. It was developed here, administered here, marked here on its own. It's not a tool of foreign control. The GLAT is used as a diagnostic. It identifies our children's quote-unquote weaknesses. It tracks them. And by the time they reach grade 9, they are funneled toward the BJC, the Bahamas Junior Certificate. And the BJC is commissioned by Cambridge University, the United Kingdom. Here they come again. And the BGCSC, the big exam, the one that determines university admission and professional qualifications, well, it doesn't really, but it's supposed to. All right? This is also commissioned by Cambridge. So I hope you see what's happening. Our children are being judged for their entire future by a foreign standard, a standard developed in a country that deliberately underdeveloped our region, a standard that measures success by how well a Bahamian child can think like a British child. So when you see our young boys especially not finishing the course, not running the curriculum, something has happened. They check out way before they physically leave. They mentally check out. Dr. Amos Wilson, psychological warfare. These young men are running from psychological warfare. Does that mean that they shouldn't read? See, these things like reading comprehension and math, they can learn that at home. You're supposed to be doing that with them at home. Make them read the newspaper out loud. Make them read a book to you loud. Go through the math with them. The problem is, unfortunately, plenty of us as parents don't know the math. But this is now why you have YouTube, you have AI to assist, right? Dr. Amos writes, every discipline and every institution in this society is a part of its imperialism. Each is a part of the means by which the European American intends to maintain dominance over the rest of the world. Now, some of you might be thinking, but the exams are objective. They're fair. They're based on merit. Are they? If the exam asks about British history, but never asks about the Haitian Revolution, the first successful slave revolt in the world, is it objective? Now, some of you are so xenophobic. Y'all didn't even hear what I said. All you heard was Haitian. Not even understanding that the importance of such a topic would begin to help us to identify a little bit more with ourselves, more than learning about Britain. If the exam teaches English more so than it teaches the poetry of Bahamian writers, is that fair? And I know that they do have some Bahamian poetry, but in large part, if you're studying literature, you're not necessarily studying the ethos of Bahamian literature. If the exam rewards students who can memorize British monarchs but cannot solve a single problem facing their own community, is that merit? If we learn about the pirates, Anne Bonny, Edward Teach, we have a whole museum dedicated to them. Where's the Bahamian Heroes Museum? Just a thought. Dr. Wilson says our goal should not be equality with European education. Listen to this carefully. He says their best is not good enough. He says, and I quote, has got to do better than the white child. Not as good, but better. But how can our children do better when they are measured by someone else's ruler? My last point for setting the table before I open the phone lines, the consequences then, this is the most painful part of the story. What happens to the Bahamian children who do succeed? The ones that are being congratulated around this time of year. The ones who master the British-aligned curriculum, BGCSC, with flying colors and win scholarships to universities abroad. too many of them never come back. Let me give you the numbers. According to a 2014 report from the Inter-American Development Bank, approximately 61% of tertiary educated Bahamians live abroad. Professors at the University of the Bahamas have estimated that 70% of their graduates leave and do not return. 70%. That means for every 10 bright, ambitious, well-educated young Bahamians we send out into the world, only 3 come home. Why don't they return? The number one reason is economic. They go to the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and they earn salaries that are 2 or 3 times what they could make here. One Bahamian professional told a reporter that she earns triple the salary in the U.S. for the exact same job she would do here. But there's a deeper problem. Many of our students pursue specialized degrees, biomedical engineering, scientific research, aeronautics, fields that have almost no job market in the Bahamas. Our economy is still heavily dependent on tourism and finance. It hasn't diversified. It hasn't diversified in large part because Britain starved our development for generations. So our education system produces skills that our economy does not need. And our brightest citizens take those skills elsewhere. So imagine being in a conundrum where when you do, ain't no job for you. And when, of course, you don't do well, you're unqualified. That is exactly what Beckles calls education and export. It is the final stage of the colonial empire, or cycle rather. Extract the wealth, extract the labor, and now extract the minds. That's what's happening in this country. The minds are being extracted. So what's the solution? How do we awaken this natural genius? Where do we go from here? Are we trapped in this cycle forever? I mean, if we don't wake up, yes. Is there any hope for our young men, or our young women, our nation? The Dr. Amos Wilson says, yes, there is hope. But only if we are willing to change everything. Only if we are willing to change everything. So, what are those things that we must change? What is everything that must change? We come back after this break. We're going to touch on that. Then we're going to open the phone lines, go to the text lines. But we want to understand the genius of our children, of our young black men that are unqualified, that can't make the ranks of the armed forces. What's going on? Back after this.
Black people protesting across the nation, emancipation, proclamation. More time is what we facing. Been 100 years, no reparation. No 40 acres, no one nation. No, in my situation is secure with an occupation. So strategize.
Hope still lives in community. Join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for the Hope Walk 2026 on Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay. Walk alongside survivors, patients, caregivers, and families as we come together in support. Enjoy fellowship, vendors, activities, and our inspiring Hope concert immediately following the walk. Register at gdcancersupportgroup.com.
Guess who's back?
It's that time again for the 31st annual Michael Scootery Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic.
Bring it on now, let's go.
Whether you're a player or a fan, you don't want to miss this one. The action starts July 13th at the Hope Center. Log on to peaceonthestreets.com and register.
Come on, everybody, we're going!
That's the Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic, where we shoot hoops instead of guns.
Wendy's and Coca-Cola are giving you the chance to experience the Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans, July 3rd through 5th. Upgrade any premium lunch combo to a large with the co-product for your grand prize. A VIP trip for 2 to Essence Fest. Grab a day single, Asiago Ranch, Chicken Club, or 3-piece tenders combo today. Eat big, sip Coke, win big with Wendy's and Coca-Cola. Rules and restrictions apply.
It touches far too many families, but hope still lives in community. Join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for the Hope Walk 2026 on Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay. Walk alongside survivors, patients, caregivers, and families as we come together in strength, healing, and support. Enjoy community fellowship, vendors, activities, and our inspiring Hope concert immediately following the walk. Register today at gdcancersupportgroup.com. Let's take every step forward together for hope.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Time I write. Time I write, it be for my people. And every time I rap, it be for my people. And every time I sing,
and we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Calhoun Anku Sarah. How do we tap into the genius of our children, especially our boys? You know, they're being left behind. We're having a conversation today about just that, and we're just kind of setting the table and touching on the education system. We've talked about how Europe is definitely underdeveloped, not only Africa, but the Caribbean. And many of the ills that we are facing today is as a result of that. Now, are we saying that to make an excuse? No, definitely not. In fact, as I'm citing the work of Dr. Amos Wilson and Sir Hilary Beckles, we need to change everything if we don't want to keep going into this cycle. So he said the first thing we must do is reclaim educational sovereignty. That means cutting the link to Cambridge. We so proud that we linked to Cambridge, but Cambridge can't help us. It's not helping us. Developing our own national exams, our own curriculum, our own standards that measure what it means to be an educated Bahamian, not an imitation Englishman. You want to know why the children ain't coming to school, ain't interested in what is being taught? Because they ain't learning about themselves. Secondly, we must Africanize the curriculum. And by Africanize, I don't mean excluding others. I mean centering our own experience, teaching Bahamian history in every grade, celebrating the Bahamian and the Caribbean heroes from Paul Bogle to Lyndon Pinland, using Bahamian literature, Bahamian art, Bahamian music as the foundation of learning. Not that we don't use it now, but is it the foundation? At the end of the day, the children and the parents rather ask, what you teaching my child, is that on the exam? I'm telling you what I first know as an educator. You trying to teach them something that can help their soul. And they worrying about if it's on the exam or not. And if it ain't on the exam, they tell the children, cursing us. Third, we must create multiple pathways to success. Now, we see this already happening. Not every child is meant to go to university, but every child is genius. So has genius in them. We need technical schools. We see that being built now, right? Arts academies, we see that being built now. Entrepreneurial training, rigorous programs that certify genuine competence in fields that matter to our economy. That part, that matter to our economy. Fourth, we must invest in early childhood education. This part is important. Starting at birth, Dr. Wilson cites research showing that intensive home-based programs can raise a child's IQ by 17 points or more. He describes programs in places where at-risk children who received early intervention had an average IQ of 121 compared for those who did not. Finally, we must build holistic self-concept in our children. So this Africanizing of the curriculum got to start in preschool. You got to see yourself in preschool at 10. Our children are born with the best brains in the world, Dr. Wilson is saying, and they can deal with any kind of problem that we put to them, any kind of problem. We did it in Egypt. We don't need any proof of our capability of doing it. So are we going to continue in this cycle? Or are we going to continue pointing at the young boys and just blaming them? Or are we going to fix the system because the system ain't serving us? 323-6232, 3254-316-316. 325-4259, the Family of Violence, 242-300-5720. The text line is 422-4796. Call you live.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay. I'll be good.
Good.
You speaking about the young boys in this country now? Anyway, let's get to the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you talk about, you've brought on a person who speak about remuneration money back in Africa and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay. Now, do you realize, and they need to teach that, about our own people. Ain't no white man going in Africa and take out no black people from there.
No, really?
So you know that?
No, I don't know that.
It was black on black. Okay?
So
that's one of the reasons.
So let me, hold on, slow down.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where did you learn that?
Baby, I was a librarian in this country.
I asked you one simple question. You learned it in the library. That's what you're saying.
I learned.
You learned that in the school system? You learned that in the school system? Because you proving my point. You proving my point.
What point?
That you weren't properly taught.
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Guess what?
I'm listening.
Okay, Haile Selassie was not a Rasta man, but I ain't getting there. And I learned.
I ain't talking about Haile Selassie today, so I need you to focus. I'm not talking about Haile Selassie today. I'm talking about the poor education system that you, unfortunately, and I, unfortunately, have had to go through, whereby we have received misinformation and we've internalized it. And so you feel that because someone told you something and you didn't go investigate it, that it must be the truth. And that's the problem.
Pardon?
You feel as if because someone told you something that you did not obviously investigate.
Okay.
That it must be true. So you internalized it. And now when we have a problem in this country where our young men are unqualified and because they're not learning about who they are, you're going to turn around and blame them. You're going to turn around and say black people are the problem. They went into, which makes this a nonsensical point you're making. Why would black people decide to just all over the world to work for other people? That makes no sense.
No, yeah.
And the history does not show us that.
Hello. So I'm not allowed to talk.
You're not allowed to spew nonsense. So please just think about what you're saying.
I'm not saying anything. Aren't you on the air and you're talking, right? Listen, can we have a nice dialogue?
If you can spew nonsense, I can shut you down. So please just make your point. I have other callers.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now you come and you speak and you bring people on and they speak. Right? So that's not spewing anything, right?
Mom, make your point, please.
Okay. Now, I only want to say, in regard to history, and I tell you, I know about our history, black, no white man ever went in West Africa where slavery started. No white man was ever allowed in the jungle.
I realize.
Okay?
So first of all, let me stop you because I think you just need some help. There's the jungle. What jungle are you talking about in West Africa?
I'm speaking about West Africa.
What jungle are you talking about? See, someone told you about a jungle and the black man in the jungle, and that's again this is unfortunately what they've done to us. So I ain't gonna beat you up. Because all of us have had to suffer these. All right. Appreciate the fact, Mom, that we've been lied to, right? And the fact that there's very much historical documentation to prove that what you're saying just isn't true. I'm not going to make my show about that today, but the fact of the matter is that if you go back to what's called the Berlin Conference, and you can go even back before that. Are you familiar with the Berlin Conference?
I do.
What was the Berlin Conference? What was it? What do you remember
Berlin,
it to be?
Germany? You mean Germany?
Yeah, Germany. There was a conference.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened at that? What happened at that conference?
You say I mustn't go and be retracted on any other topic, right?
No. I'm just trying.
Go to the Berlin conference
because I need you to appreciate that what you're saying doesn't make sense.
I appreciate everything, sir.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate you calling, Mom. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next call. I could work with you. I could try to work with you, but, you know, just you got to work with me too, man. You know what I mean? So I won't beat no one up today. But clearly we got work to do. Let's go to the next caller. Call you live.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well.
No problem. I'm a first-time caller to your show.
Man, thank you for calling, man. Appreciate that.
I love the topic. My name is Dr. Petra Forbes, and I'm a psychiatrist.
Excellent. Man,
And
we need you. I should have you in the studio.
You should have. I will leave my contact.
Yeah, leave the contact because I would love to have that conversation. But go ahead. What you got for us today?
Maybe we can make it happen.
Yeah,
But
man.
Excellent topic.
Mm-hmm.
I am very passionate about it, and I agree wholeheartedly with your sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
Research has shown from Harvard University by Dr. Howard Gardner that there are 8 different types of intelligence.
Thank you.
8.
Mm-hmm.
And in our culture in the Bahamas, we focus on 2 types, the linguistic and the mathematical intelligence.
Right.
And I feel that we can have a lot of young men, specifically who are geniuses, who are meant to feel stupid and not good enough, because in our curriculum, we don't acknowledge and we don't test for all 8 types of intelligence. And just to go through it quickly for your viewers,
Sure, please.
we have our linguistic intelligence. So their strengths are vocabulary, reading, writing, verbal. So these persons go on to become public speakers, journalists, lawyers, teachers. We have our mathematical intelligence. So they're strong with problem solving, scientific reading, reasoning, and they become our software engineers, our statisticians, researchers. Those are the 2 that we do in this culture.
Right.
But we have visual, spatial intelligence as well. And we can have a young man in school who is a genius
Yes.
in this. And they can GPS, they go to the U.S. for the first time, to a state for the first time, and they don't even need the GPS after driving around one time.
Yes.
They remember it from one exposure.
Wow.
These people can become pilots, urban planners, or architects.
Wow.
We have bodily kinesthetic intelligence, so they're body smart.
Wow.
They're good with the craftsmen. So these are our professional athletes, our dancers, our actors, our trade persons. We have musical intelligence as well. And we have such a rich musical culture with junk canoe, rake, and scrape. And we don't fully expose our young people to it as we should. There's also interpersonal intelligence. So some people are people smart.
Yes.
They pick up on empathy, social cues. They're great at team leadership. So these persons can be good at being a therapist, human resources managers, things of that nature. You have intrapersonal intelligence. So they're self-smart. They're aware of themselves. They are good at introspection. These persons are the philosophers.
Okay.
And finally, we have naturalistic intelligence. So some people are nature smart. They understand nature, living things, and our ecological awareness. So these individuals become our geologists, our biologists, our environmental scientists. So this topic is so timely.
Yeah.
And my thing is we make our young men, because that's my passion, we need to capture our young men.
Yeah.
We make them feel like they're not intelligent. 2 types of intelligence in our curriculum. We're missing 6 other types. And also, like I said, I'm a psychiatrist. I feel like when kids enter primary school, it's mandatory for them to have a physical examination to enter the school. But what about a mental health evaluation?
Wow.
We don't touch on in our curriculum anger management, conflict resolution. We have so much murders and violence.
Yes.
If children learn this from a primary school level, it could become second nature to them. We learning about Columbus and the Arawak.
Right.
But what about financial literacy?
Wow. Now,
So I think on educational level, I applaud Glennis Harner Martin for introducing
she did an excellent
the
job.
Bahamian history. I
Yeah.
love that. But Chester Cooper now can
He got the baton.
advocate-
Yes.
advocate for emotional intelligence, anger management, financial literacy, and introduce different types of intelligence into our curriculum. And we can recognize more geniuses like you're talking about. There are more geniuses outside of math, 6 other types of geniuses that our curriculum does not capture. And we make our young people feel stupid and less than. And they can be geniuses in their own right if we only test for it.
Yes.
I know I said a lot,
No,
but thank you for your
definitely
time.
helped us today. Thank you so very much. Leave your number with the producer, and I'll be in touch with you, please.
Excellent topic. I love it.
Thank you so very much for calling. 323-6232, 324-325-4259, the Family Violence, 242-300-5720. Caller, you live. Caller going once. Hello? Can you hear me, caller? All right, let's go to the next caller. I guess they got distracted. Call back now. Caller, you live.
Yes, my brother, how are you?
I'm well, man. Thanks for calling.
Yes, it's been a while since I called your show.
I know, man. I thought you leave me, thought you diss me, man, you know? I just played.
No, brother, I learned so much from you, and I have no problem to be educated on anything that I need to or help from. That lady a moment ago, she was very much awesome.
Yes, she was.
You are a biblical man.
Yes, sir.
And I already tested you a few times. But you know, you had many shows on this same particular topic, and you didn't even know.
Yeah, I know, but what happened is I add a little bit more because I can't put everything in one show. So I kind of got to retouch some things. So that's what's going on right now.
But I want to salute my good brother, Commissioner Don Clare. Some people want to take it personal. Some folk may be offended. But it is the truth as to the premise he spoke about.
No, he was.
Brother,
that's the gentleman who made the comment about the young men, right?
Yes.
No, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely correct. I mean,
yes, he's correct.
You know, I just want to investigate why that's a true statement. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is a true statement. It is true.
Yeah.
But from a biblical point of view now, this is where I have to go. Until we understand the conspiracy as to why our boys are being left behind, this is so deep spiritually. And I know that you are qualified to see where I am going. Number one, the first institution what God made, was it the family?
Be fruitful and multiply.
The family.
Yes, sir.
So what we have now today,
well, we got a lot of
50%, 70% of children what? Out of what?
Out of wedlock, a lot of divorce. You know, that
you would agree with that?
That lock broken clearly because that's get bust open quick.
Okay, you following me?
Yeah, with you.
You remember mentorship?
Yeah. Well, community first, because out of your community come your mentors.
Do you remember there was a balance with male teachers in the school?
Oh, yeah, but they can't pay us no more. That's the problem.
You're following the conspiracy?
I see. So a man can't take care of family or no teacher salary. I've tried.
And I want to salute. I want to salute Minister Glennis Hannah Martin. I want to salute her also.
Yeah, man.
And I do believe my homeboy. I'm not biased. I'm going to be a little biased. My homeboy, the Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper.
Yeah, man.
I believe he's going to do well because
I think so
knows
too.
The value of mentorship.
Yeah.
because that was something we still hold on to in the settlement or at the island of Exuma.
Yeah.
Mentorship in for more than 40 years is so much lacked in this country with boys.
I agree.
And I have grandboys. I never had a boy. And sometimes I have to say to my daughter, let me handle this, or to my son-in-law. It's just sometimes your approach in terms of mentorship.
Yeah.
So when you have boys being bullied in school,
Yep.
bully at home,
Yep.
bully at the workplace, before he get in any trouble, what he do? Shut down.
Yeah.
And he grieve inside. Because, let me just say in a short, I don't want to take over your show. I just want to make one simple statement. Remember this. Every place or everything that Jesus Christ touched, his presence was felt. And that is how a boy feels in the presence of his father. Would you agree?
I agree.
Still have influence on me after departing for more than 30 years.
Wow. He did his job.
Memories still sing in my head.
Yeah. Let me get this last call in. I appreciate that, man. I do appreciate your sentiment, and I definitely feel what you're talking about. Thank you so much. Let's get this last call in before the break. Callie, you live.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I am, Uncle.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Man, this is a good show you up today.
Thank you, man.
Right? You know, I just called to say, I enjoyed that lady when she was on a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was performing.
We're gonna get her back on the show.
Yeah, she's good. You know, I called to say, you know, I've known of a situation. One of my neighbors. She talked to her son, and she don't know. She always cursing him at him, right?
Yeah.
And I said, you know, you can't bring up a boy if you're cursing at him. What's gonna happen is that boy, he's gonna rebel. He's gonna rebel, and when he rebels,
the father's not around.
Yeah, father's not around.
Yeah. So she need help too.
Yeah, I mean, that grieves my spirit every time she beat him and cursed him.
Because she at the end of her rope. See, a man, she's at the end of her rope. See, you need to hear. You need to hear a man voice say, "Stop that."
Right. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You need to feel a man, heavy hand. Just hold on your shoulder tight and just get a little squeeze and say, "Look, yo, calm yourself down." You need that.
And see, Uncle, what happened? She have a guy live with her, but the guy doesn't like the boy.
Oh boy, that's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. I pray she can figure out, you know, how to get him around people who can mentor him.
He needs someone to mentor.
Yeah.
To be mentor. And you know.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, man.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I pray for her too, you know, because she's also, you know, she's dealing with a lot, you know, that's been put on her plate.
She's dealing with a lot.
She's dealing with a lot, so it's not her fault per se, but it's just unfortunate that the father couldn't be there or wasn't be there, whatever the case is. Yeah. I appreciate the call, my brother. We got about 2 more minutes. Try one more call. Call you live. Caller going once. All right, let's go to the next caller. Caller, you live. Come on, I only got about a minute left, so I don't know if you want to hold and catch me.
Yeah, I told the producer I would hold until after the news.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, Cleaver, because I know you want to share, and I don't want cut you short. So just hold on, and we'll get you on the next side of the break. When we come back, Dr. Amos Wilson made a comment that I am definitely wanting to investigate. He said that education makes us dumber. Education makes us dumber. And of course, he's talking about this Eurocentric, imperialistic education that doesn't serve us. So I want to explain what that means. I also want to talk about what the lady, the first caller, the comment that she made, because unfortunately she's been miseducated like all of us, to think that, black people did this to ourselves. And so I want to touch on that too when we come back. And of course, we're going to hear from our callers and our texters. Keep it locked here on Guardian Radio today. My name is Calhoun Ankusara, also known as Dr. Cleveland W. Enos III. Back after this.
And everything I think about be for my people. And every time I shine, it be for my people. I do it for the good, it be for my people. I do it for the hood, it be for my people. Hey.
Now a revolution, if done right, certainly won't be televised, Snapchatted or tweeted. Any admission is essentially asking for permission. An easy way to know your ETA. Because just like we listen, he listened. And it's poised and propagated, but no problem is solved.
Budgeting and saving? Yes. Investing? Check. But what if you could do more? With an RF brokerage account, you can get priority access to local investment opportunities right as they come to the market. Never miss a bond or new share offering again. Plus, you can house all your investments in one place and benefit twice. Contact us at brokerage@rfgroup.com to start doing more today. Some conditions apply. RF, money at work.
Always on the go? Missed the show? You can now listen to Guardian Radio talk shows anytime, anywhere on Spotify and YouTube by searching Guardian Radio 96.9 FM or by entering the name of your favorite show. You can also listen by logging on to GuardianTalkRadio.com and clicking on the podcast tab. Guardian Radio, continuing to provide you with fresh news and smart talk anywhere, anytime, all day.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And it's poised and propagated, but no problem is solved. You see, the difference between a killing and a murder is the emotion involved. And yet there is harsh reality to reflect your claim. But when you're angry, it only affects your aim. So talking is like a tantrum, and your gunfire is random. I'll write a revolution down on my handgun. See,
and we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enos III, also known as Calhoun Ankusara. Awakening the Genius, Education Empire, and the Future of Bahamian Men. Are our young men just unqualified, or is the education system underserving them? Cleaver's has been holding on for a second. Let me let him get in, and I'll move on with the show. Go ahead, Cleaver. You there?
Hello?
Hey, my brother.
Yeah. Anku,
thanks for calling.
Yes,
sir.
And hopefully we could bring some relief or some comment that can perhaps cause a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it will happen anytime soon.
Well, one step at a time.
But I've been doing this now for 23 years and I haven't progressive. So
one step at a time.
I could say that,
Yeah, I got you.
Because I've done the research and I've done the studies and I've been denied on numerous occasions. So this message, even though it is timely, it is not accepted by the status quo, so to speak. I listened to the commissioner of the prison.
Yeah.
Right? And he is saying that men are not qualified, our colonial masters, etc., right?
Yeah.
But the women are going to the same school, the girls, that is, the females. They're attending the same school.
We're about to get into that next. Yeah.
I didn't hear that?
No, I say I'll be about to get into that next, but go ahead.
Yeah, they're attending the same schools and they're receiving the same education. But for whatever reason, our men always, you can say that that the males are lagging behind. Not all are lost, but we are still lagging behind in terms of getting the prerequisites or meeting these prerequisites. And no one is really pausing to see exactly what is going on and trying to correct this. Right now, I mean, we just had another 3 men who would have lost their lives through violence over the weekend.
Yeah.
Our males are being, we are becoming depleted, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at the amount of homicide. And there isn't anyone out there, I mean, no one can, I haven't heard a white Bahamian kill another white Bahamian in years. I haven't heard one. It's all, what we're experiencing is black men are killing black men. Yet, we see the numbers, but we haven't had a conclave in years to address this issue. So it seems that the system is quite content with what is happening to our males. They're quite content because anything that offends them, they speak about it and they take steps to correct it. But I haven't seen, in 23 years, I haven't seen any positive steps being taken in any gigantic way to address this deficiency, these problems that is affecting our young men. And children, you know, because you hear women now, they're talking about marital rape. Children getting raped almost on a daily basis. You don't get any serious outcry for that.
Yeah.
You hear women talking about women who are being raped, but not children.
Right.
You know, and, you know, but the way we construct our society and we construct this society based on women and children. Most of our policies are geared towards women and children. I've been an advocate for years, and we finally got, we had a women's desk, a women's bureau's desk at the Department of Social Services for decades. For decades. Just in recent time, they changed it to gender affairs, whatever that means. I don't know what gender affairs means. You know? I'm trying to wrap my head around it to see exactly what it means, because the last time I checked, I mean, the woke agenda, they had like with 30-something different genders. Following me? Hello?
Hey, go ahead. Yeah, we got you back. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me just say so. Now, how do we address this problem concerning our men? How we've got to take steps to remove gender from the equation and look at us as human beings, males and females as human beings. When you include gender, you don't really address the problem that is facing our men. I'm willing to become a consultant for the government for free, pro bono.
Let me
pro bono to address this issue.
Right, but let me say this.
You know, without pay. If I don't perform, then they don't pay me.
Well, yeah.
I'm willing to do that. And we got millions of dollars spent on this. You can let the Prime Minister know that I'm willing to do mine for free.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then they pay me. If it doesn't, I can walk free. I have no problem with that.
See, as an educator, Cleaver, someone who's been in the classroom, who's been an administrator, there's a difference when you're dealing with boys and girls. In fact, I think we need to focus more on gender, because if you had separation of boys and girls, I remember Jeff Lloyd mentioned this when he was Minister of Education, and people rejected it, right? But if you separate the boys and the girls at an early age more so, and you integrate them later on in maybe 10 through 12, or integrate them during PE and stuff like that, you will see a difference in how boys and girls interact in a classroom. I mean, we could do a show on it, but I think we don't pay enough attention to gender. I think we try to just use a broad brush, and then we look at the boys like, well, what's wrong with you? When the system isn't designed especially for these young boys. Because you want a young boy to sit down for hours a day. Young boys don't sit down. Young boys just move around. We just run. We learn different from girls.
We say boys. I mean, in years gone by, we've had no separation, and we put out great results with GCEs, O levels, A levels,
but that's a misnomer because everybody wasn't allowed to take GCE. That's why it looked like people was doing so well, because they'll tell you can't take it, but you could take it. So the person who was more capable was allowed to take it. That's why it looked like he was doing so well. He wasn't doing well.
But before we separate, there's some mitigating factors that we don't look at.
I agree with you there.
Many of us may have been suffering from ADHD.
I agree with you because the white sugar and everything we eat.
Until we do the research
Mm-hmm.
and have these kids tested to see exactly where they are, we just can't say they're separated.
No, I'm not saying to just separate without actually having a method to doing it. I'm not saying that. Right. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that
someone who's listening to you, who's in a position, they may hear what you say.
I understand what you're saying. No, I understand what you're saying. There's a methodology that can be applied. We have great educators in this country. Trust me.
Yeah, we have to, but then young men and many kids go through the school system without being tested for these things.
Yeah. I agree.
ADHD and many other deficiencies that could prevent them from learning.
Yeah.
Because then on top of that, we have the absentee father.
Yeah.
Which plays a humongous role.
Yeah.
In what we are saying. Then you have the issue of child abuse.
Yeah.
Where these kids are being abused. So all of these things need to be looked at holistically. But I can tell you put people in there who understand what is really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Who's prepared to do the research and present this white paper to the government.
Mm-hmm.
You continue on talking. I mean, I heard this discussion 20 years ago,
Wow.
And we're still here having this discussion.
So, Cleaver, we just got to keep at it, man. And I here to help you, brother, because I beat you doing this. You see what I'm saying?
I'm getting old now, and for 23 years, and we haven't gotten anywhere. We haven't made any significant inroads. I mean, we're going to be doing this thing forever.
Well,
we got to look and do studies to see exactly where we are.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Cleaver.
But no problem. We'll see what they after you have this discussion tomorrow. We'll be back to normal.
Well, I won't be, but I understand what you mean by that. But I understand. Yeah, thank you so much, Cleaver. I got to give a big shout out not only to Cleaver, who's been doing this work for many years, but my big brother, Chris Justilian. The Justilian brothers. They are a resource in this country when it comes to mentorship, musical mentorship. The psychiatrist had called and talked about musical intelligence, and we have some music. I would call them they're not only musical mentors, but there are many young men that have turned their lives around under the tutelage of the Justilian brothers, and we need to make sure that people understand that there are resources out there. Chris Justilian and his brother, they are resources in this country. Obviously, we know through sports, that's another resource. The list goes on. Let me go to some texts, and then I want to add some more to this conversation. This is a good topic today. Now that I think about it, why did I need to learn those subjects in school? And it would have been wouldn't give me any actual work I could do after leaving school. Those things could have been learned at home. Amen. Let me go to another text here. It says, Uncle, sorry, but I agree with your caller. Is 100% correct. We didn't come from no African jungle. There's no evidence of any slave ship that they describe in our history book. And we were lied to. I grew up thinking we came from Africa. Well, that's a whole another show. You two have been, you didn't get the full picture. Let me just say it that way. And sometimes that's a form of miseducation, right? This distortion, going back to that caller, the black on black slavery, right? You've heard this version of history that goes something like this. Africans sold other Africans to Europeans. So Africans are just as responsible for the transatlantic slave trade as Europeans. Now, this argument is often used to shame us as black people by suggesting ancestral complicity in slavery. It deflects responsibility from European nations that financed, organized, and profited from the slave trade for over 400 years. Nations claim by arguing that Africans were willing participants. So they just had a resolution in the UN not too long ago where we are agreeing, except for a couple other countries that this is the most heinous crime against humanity, and we ain't blaming Africans for it. Africans didn't get reparations for Africans when they were emancipated. Britain did. Okay? So this is why I'm saying we have a fragmented understanding of what actually happened to us, and it's not focused on in the education system. And so therefore, we end up with these notions in our psyche that unfortunately don't serve us well. Blessings, Dr. Aeneas. Third, please connect your first caller with lovely 60-plus-year-old F&M grandmother, retired librarian, up with Fox Hills, Mama Africa, former F&M Senator, the Honorable Dr. Jacinta Higgs. Yes, one of my mentors. The first lady caller has a good mind, a little misguided. I believe so too. I believe the Honorable Dr. Jacinta Higgs can help to correctly guide that beautiful retired librarian in the right direction. As a matter of fact, it may be good expertise of the retired librarian, maybe part-time or something, within the library of a Catherine School International. Catch my drift? I catch your drift. We definitely could get her in touch with Dr. Higgs. She would be well blessed. Let me take this call, and then I want to add something else to the table that Dr. Amos Wilson talked about with regard to education making us dumb. Callie, you live.
Hey, Uncle. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, my brother. I'm well, man.
Who's in there with you, Uncle?
Just you. I got. Yeah, I don't have any yesterday.
That's coming in.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then good afternoon to the nation. Listen, man, this is an excellent conversation as you always have.
Thank you, man.
With all of your topics, you provide a good, sound basis of education, edification, wisdom.
Thank you.
And you encourage the forward thinking, which is necessary. It's very strange when you have this kind of conversation on the backdrop that as a society and as a society operating in a global society, the very people who took advantage of us, financially and every other wise, physically and every other wise, mentally, emotionally, every other wise, we are still having to survive in their environment, right?
Powerful.
That they created, because they created this environment.
Yep.
We didn't create it.
Nope.
But we have to survive in their environment, compete with them, and compete against them, right?
Yes.
Isn't that strange? Isn't that strange, Uncle?
It is.
You need the help of Jesus in order to thrive.
Yeah, you need supernatural intervention.
Either that, or in many instances, they still have to see you not directly as they used to when they had the chokehold around our neck.
Yeah.
Right. But indirectly, they almost have to see you as that house one who they can allow to bench out and succeed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. The one they can control. Yeah.
Precisely. But it's still under their watchful eyes. It's still under their tight control. Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying this to create this backdrop right here. Right here in our country. And I have this conversation with many people up to recently, very recently. We are like a double-edged sword that kills our own self. You hear me, Uncle?
Yeah.
We as a people, we are that cuts and kills our own self.
Wow.
Right? Before we even arrive. And to just give a brief of what I mean by that is, we have a society where it was seen that the man went out and worked and provided, et cetera, right? Now we are developing, over the last, 30 years or so, we are developing into a society where the woman goes out and does that, right? Except at the very root, at the very foundation, the academic excellence is being geared and pushed very strategically more towards the women in this country. Strategically, deliberately, right? And even using taxpayer dollars, it is being used to advantage a certain segment of our society. That's another problem.
You must be reading my notes. That's exactly where I was going next.
but look here, Uncle. One of the greatest problems as I was laying on that foundation to point out is we know where the challenges are in our society, Uncle. We can either take a handoff approach, a standoffish approach, or and say, oh, these guys are failing, or these guys only want to commit crime, and that's a small segment of our society, but that small segment impacts a great segment of the country, right? Challenges are and develop the multi-level strategies and plans in order to impact those who we missed, right, who are creating havoc or who are falling through the net, and simultaneously putting those plans in place to capture those who we can still impact at the early stage, capture those who we can impact who are at the middle stage of going down this bad hill. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
We can do that as a society, as a sovereign country. We need to have people in place in these leadership positions who are truly selfless, in their approach. That is the common thread, Uncle, that brought us through successfully to the platform and the foundation that we are on today. That was present in a great deal of our forefathers and foremothers. They were selfless people. They were prepared to go out, capture, come back, and spread the information, the knowledge, the empowerment, right? Spread the know-how, et cetera, et cetera. And it wasn't about their personal elevation. It was about seeing a society elevate so that we can sustain our country. From then to now to future. We need a shift, Uncle. We honestly need a mental, an emotional, an economic, a political shift in our thinking, Uncle. And I believe that, and I'm ending on this already. I believe, and it has nothing to do with politics. I believe that we have a prime minister, which a lot of what we describe, who has lived through it, who has come up through it, and who is now a second consecutive repeat prime minister, Uncle, who can help us to get there. I believe that if he has people in his way who is not doing what is necessary to help us get there as a nation, this time around, he has to chop off, however you want to put it, their heads, their proverbial political heads, in order to keep this shit moving.
He's all we got right now. We want him to succeed.
To succeed,
That's
precisely.
Right.
Thank you very much, Uncle.
Thank
you. Hopefully what you just said spreads through the minds of all the politicals in this country. Because it's one government. And they're here, and they are here, and the prime minister will be prime minister for the next 5 years and change, minus the weeks that has already passed thus far. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes,
Great
sir.
conversation. God bless him.
Thank you so much. This texter says, Uncle, you are absolutely correct. Boys and girls learn differently. And this is a well-known study. I only achieved greatness in school because my mom taught me to, quote unquote, learn like a girl, meaning sit down in one place. It worked for me, but will likely fail for other boys. Exactly. So Dr. Amos Wilson talks about, because Cleaver Duncan asked me, he said, man, the girls, they're in the same class. How come they doing, but the boys ain't doing well? That's a very good question, right? Education offers women a limited but real path to status and survival, right? Under colonialism and its aftermath, which we live in now, formal education has been one of the few respectable avenues for women to achieve economic independence, social mobility, and escape from domestic servitude. Dr. Amos Wilson argues that the colonial education system is designed to produce servants. Listen now. It's designed to produce servants, not leaders. You want to know why the black boys rejecting it. For black men, being a servant, quote unquote, is emasculating. It directly conflicts with patriarchal expectations of male authority and provider status. For black women, however, being a servant, a teacher, a nurse, a clerk, a domestic worker has historically been one of the only available roles that offered some dignity, income, and social standing. As one analysis of Caribbean education notes, for black women in particular, the colonial school represented a fragile but tangible pathway out of poverty and into a respectable class. Respectable classes, teaching, nursing, and the civil service. Men, by contrast, were more likely to experience the school as a slight of humiliation. And see, if you can't sit down and be quiet and learn, then you can fail. The women are not accepting, quote unquote, the system because they believe in it. They are strategically navigating a system that offers them more than it offers men, even if what it offers is still inadequate. This is Dr. Amos Wilson, right? The system pushes black men more harshly and more visibly. Amos Wilson writes extensively about how the colonial system criminalizes and destroys black men. He states, quote unquote, quote rather, white racists must criminalize and destroy black men. The black man must not be permitted to live fully free. Therefore, there are a series of steps that are set up to destroy him along the way. Any system that treats a 13-year-old like any regular adult criminal has admitted that it has failed. And I was just asking, but the 12-year-old, should they treat him like an adult? That's the craziness that the system puts in our head. The school system is the first step in the pipeline. Black boys are disciplined more harshly, suspended more frequently, labeled as behavior problems earlier, and channeled into special education or vocational tracks at higher rates than black girls. And are more likely to be retained in grade, excluded from school for disciplinary reasons, diagnosed with behavioral disorders, pushed out of the academic track and into a lower status program. When the system consistently humiliates and rejects you, you do not accept it. That's why they ain't learning. You resist, you withdraw, you drop out. This is not failure of character. It is a rational response to a hostile environment. Ain't dumb. They're very much geniuses, but they realize that this is psychological warfare. So they are pushing back. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, the family of violence, 242-300-5720. Call you live.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Don.
Yes, 52.
Yeah, great topic, of course. I'm agreeing with everything what you're saying. So, by the Bible, by the bullet, by the ballad of the gun, any which may freedom has come.
Yes.
I know a lot of powerful music too, but that song that I wish you could send it to me that you initiated your show with. But
yeah, I'll send it.
There's nothing wrong with being a dropout. Just don't let your mind cop out. I dropped out of COB, but I had a teacher named, I think she's very famous, Jacinta Roll, right?
Yes, of course.
She'd introduced me to African poetry, Roger Mayers, B.S. Naipaul, etc., etc. So I read the poetry, and it was about African. The poetry was about African history and did a lot of African depiction, right?
Yeah.
And so to all the, I hate to call them imbeciles, but to all the people who bought into the concept or the narrative about selling one another into slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are very naive and shallow-minded because I juxtapose how would they fill this inventory with all these people over here with such just captives of war? They couldn't figure out that's a lie. Also, if they should have read some of the treaties that C.A. Nui had a lady on the other day. I don't know if you or C.A. Nui. I think it's C.A. Nui.
Yeah.
And she was talking about the treaties that the Papal Bulls signed. But the most infamous one for me was the Treaty of Tordesillas.
Yeah.
So even the Portuguese, which is being Guianas, the first Africans they encountered, they enslaved them and they carried them back to Portugal and showed off to the Queen their ill-gotten gains, etc., etc. Most of us are very naive as it relates to the world. You kind of enlightened me a little higher on the West Indian Federation because I did it at no level, and it was the pros and cons and the failures and the reasons for the failure of the West Indian Federation in the late 50s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you showed me it was always a plot.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a big journey because I'm wondering how could we make it the other day and still going on where our politicians and the likes are all satisfied with being crowned whatever of the British Knights or whatever of the Royal Majesty Queen, whatever. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With that type of mentality, but I think one of our PMs had refused those type of medals, right? But the history of the British Empire, the papacy, very naive, and it's for education. I don't know. I have an untrained mind, but I thank God for my teachers that taught me how to read and write and do the basic math. I was able to carry on and keep reading. I'm a free thinker because I was always a free reader. I am not dogmatic and blindly dogmatic because I read different books, different outlooks. No one told me which books to read. I just decided to go into global politics and geopolitics and what they call conspiracy theories, and I see the world for what it is. No one can paint a picture for me. That's not good for me. If you're painting a picture for me, let's look at what you're saying. Let's look at the nursery rhymes, the crimes, the times. You think it was really right for you to teach me these nursery rhymes about Dickie Ricky Doc, the mouse run up the clock, now the tennis of the tag,
You know what? I can do is show on fairy tales.
So, I'm saying is these things don't have no,
you're right.
The reason for them, but what I'm saying is, what effect does that have on me?
Yeah.
So, we, as black people, we're just wallowing. And I was hoping Uncle wasn't meaning the Serapis looking Yeshua, right? Because he's, we like to call on these names, and we just ride along. All the narratives have been spoon-fed for decades and centuries, and we expect to arrive with what. But I thank God that you're able to put these on the airways. But about education, for me, I look at diagrams, and I like to read. Diagrams, reading. So I'm a pictographic. I like to read and comprehend. And so one of the things that hurt me most was putting your shirt in your pants in school. I always get in problems with that because I was wondering, what was this all about?
Yeah.
You see me? So I had a problem from naturally knowing things are Eurocentric. And this is why we can't find ourselves. We're always wallowing. Of course, we know Africa is 70% grassland. There was no jungle. Give thanks, I'm vexed.
Yes.
I don't know what's next.
Yes, my brother. Dr. Amos Wilson talks about the fact that education, right, false education, it makes you dumb. Based exclusively on, this is a book called Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children by Amos Wilson. He explains that education makes black people dumb, not through neglect, but through deliberate design. The system is working exactly. So if the boys ain't qualified, the system working exactly the way it was designed to work. He argues that the very system meant to enlighten is structured to limit, misdirect, and suppress the intellectual potential of African people. In particular, these boys. That's my added on part there, because we're looking at what's happening in our society. Education is, Wilson is unequivocal. Education is not neutral. So when you ask the question, but I mean, all them in the class, how come all them ain't learning? Education is not neutral. It is an instrument of domination. Dr. Amos Wilson states, education is a form of war. We must understand that every discipline and every institution in this society is a part of its imperialism. Every single one. Every minister that sits in our House of Parliament, I'm not blaming them. I'm saying this is the system that they inherited. Now, if they don't fix it, they can be complicit. Every single one of these systems is a part of the system of imperialism. Each is a part of the means by which the European American intends to maintain dominance over the rest of the world. This includes the churches, the schools, the family, the welfare system, the economic system. You can't name one that isn't. From this perspective, a system that makes black people dumb is not broken. It is working as intended. The goal is not to develop African intelligence for African purposes. The goal is to maintain European dominance for ensuring that African people never fully develop the intellectual tools needed to challenge the dominance. So these boys are victims of a system that is working exactly the way it's supposed to work. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't go and study and shouldn't read, but you got to teach them what to study. Education is the very basis for making people ignorant. In a striking passage, Dr. Wilson argues that formal education is often the primary mechanism for producing ignorance, not curing it. He writes, one of the major instruments for putting people out of their minds is education. It is often the very basis for making people, and it is the intellectual and the PhD that have us in the whole trouble we're in today. Let me read that again. It is the intellectual and PhD that have us in the trouble we're in today. Wilson points to nuclear physicists, biologists, and economists, educated people in society as examples. They build weapons of mass destruction, develop biological agents, and design economic systems that starve African people. Their education, he argues, has been stripped of morality, love for humanity, and concern for their own children. He goes on to say these scientists are so denuded of morality, love for humanity, and concern for their own children and the generations of their children that they sell their services to the highest bidder and permit themselves to become the tools of politicians. This is a quote-unquote dumb person is not necessarily someone who cannot read. It is someone who has been educated to serve destructive ends without questioning them. Callie alive. Going once. You got to be ready, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hello, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Well, you know what this is, you're nice. Uncle Sarah.
What you say, my brother?
Boy, guess what? I even having somebody teaching me how to call that foreign name what you got, because I know you're a doctor.
You did well. You did well. You
now
did well.
they teach me now. Sparky, when you call in today, you got to say Uncle Sarah.
Gold star for Sparky. Gold star for Sparky today.
Now, hold on now. I just leaving Kelly to just buy one new wheelbarrow.
Okay, you billing again.
Now, guess what now?
Mm-hmm.
I love this conversation, especially when that psychologist.
Yes.
That psychologist called in.
Yeah.
And was telling you all that thing, but it's the truth. What you talking, and that other woman, but everybody say, don't let her call in no more. Then you block her and ask about the Berlin Conference, and she talking all the thing, but this black people and white people, no white man, this, that. And when you ask her one question, do you know what the Berlin Conference is all about?
Right.
You know, hold on. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, yeah, okay. Hey,
Go ahead,
when
Sparky.
you asked her the question, she couldn't answer.
No, and that's the point I was trying to make.
I know why you asked her the question. Why she couldn't answer? What the Berlin Conference, when the Europeans decided to get together to divide Africa.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. And we wasn't there.
And all of them went down there to split up Africa, take all the precious gold and minerals and everything and split it between themselves and let the black people be poverty in the biggest country and the country that God made in the beginning.
That's right.
That woman called in and telling me she know about history. That woman in here, she don't even know about King Henry VIII and how King Henry VIII split from Rome and the Pope because he wanted to divorce a woman, and they say, I'm the Henry VIII I am. Went through 8 wives because he wanted a son.
Yes.
Anne Boleyn and all of them kind of things, and Sir Thomas More and all of them kind of things, they don't know. When they talk history, tell them talk to Sparky.
It's Sparky. I hope they're listening because you're teaching today. Thank you so much for calling, Sparky. Thank you so much for calling. Caller, let's get the next caller. Caller, you're live. Caller going once? All right, they can call back. Dr. Amos Wilson continues. Education that prevents abstract and logical thinking. Dr. Wilson makes a crucial psychological argument. European dominance depends on keeping African people trapped in concrete thinking while preventing the development of abstract, relational, and sequential thinking. He explains, if we want to know the characteristics that white racism wishes to impose on the black child, there is one major question we may ask ourselves. What is it that we must not be able to do or have in our character if the white man is to stay dominant? The answer? African people must not think abstractly, because the abstract thinking reveals the hidden patterns of oppression. If you don't see the patterns of oppression, you don't think it's there. African people must not think logically and relationally, because logical thinking exposes the contradictions in systems that claim to be just while practicing exploitation. Oh man, it's all neutral. We're all learning the same thing. No, we're not. African people must not read between the lines. How white supremacy operates is written openly in books, but the ability to extract that truth has been repressed. Dr. Wilson says the white man is so arrogant that he puts his knowledge right in front of our face, most often in written, keep us from going to libraries. He doesn't keep us from reading. He doesn't keep us from buying books, but he has so manipulated our interests and motivation, has put us in such a state that he can place written and other forms of information right before our eyes, and we will not look at and understand them. The result? Black students read as rat and do not realize that they are the rat and the dog. The knowledge of their own oppression is available, but the education system has destroyed their capacity to recognize it. That's what's happening. We're going to take a break here on Guardian Radio today. I am your host, Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III. Uncle Sarah, as Sparky would say. Keep it locked.
And everything I think about be for my people. And every time I shine, it be for my people. I do it for the good, it be for my people. I do it for the hood, it be for my people. Hey.
Now, a revolution, if done right, it won't be a rumor that's repeated.
Turn a trip to Burger King Nassau into a galactic adventure with the Mondo and Grogu Whopper Combo, featuring special shake fries. Whether you're a bounty hunter in training or just here for your way, Burger King Nassau has everything Mandalorian and Grogu related you could want. Grab the toys, the mugs, the crowns, and your crew, and head on down to BK and celebrate the Mandalorian and Grogu adventure with Burger King Nassau. This is the way.
At Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance. Star General Gold package. also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
Cancer touches far too many families, but hope still lives in community. Join the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group for the Hope Walk 2026 on Saturday, June 13th at 6 a.m. at Goodman's Bay. Walk alongside survivors, patients, caregivers, and families as we come together in strength, healing, and support. Enjoy community fellowship, vendors, activities, and our inspiring Hope concert immediately following the walk. Register today at gdcancersupportgroup.com. Let's take every step forward together for hope.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I do it for the hood, it be for my people. Yeah, yeah. Black people and across the nation, emancipation, proclamation, more time is what we facing.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today. That's Goody Mob, if you don't know. Yeah, I'm a 90s rock kind of guy, you know what I mean? So I don't really come out of the 90s too tough. This text says, Uncle, your eye-opening, Black empowering shows are so powerful, you have captured the attention of the great Anton Thompson, who had seemingly turned away from the abandoned Guardian Radio for numerous months. But miraculously, the great Anton rapidly began calling again when the voice of Uncle appeared on the Guardian 2 days a week sometime last year. Uncle, you hot. Keep up the great work, Uncle. Love your eye-opening, Black empowering shows. Y'all is something else. Thank you so much for listening, Texter. So, Uncle, y'all be texting me a lot. You need to call in. So, Uncle, there are intelligent, sophisticated individuals like yourself and others who know and understand the colonial education and educational system. Why haven't enough people like you have changed this colonial system of education in the Bahamas and thought out the Caribbean and other African countries? I know you're doing it on a small scale with your school, but you have the connections and family ties to policymakers to implement changes. And also your connections to other Caribbean and African policymakers will be helpful to make these changes sooner than you think. Well, Texter, we're doing our best. You know, we've put the history book out. Catherine International Academy is up and running. The Holy Coptic Church, the Black Messiah is up and running. We're here on the radio. I mean, we just need help, you know, so come and help us. Let's go back to the phone lines. Callie, you're live.
Hey, brother Angu.
Hey, great, man. Hi. Thanks for calling, man.
Man, listen, always, man. Listen, couple of things here.
Yeah.
I analyze a lot of the baby boomers, right?
Yeah.
Who called in today on multiple shows.
Mm-hmm.
And these gentlemen are apologists.
Yes.
They are a bunch of apologists. They belong to, I would hate to use the word fraternity, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they belong to a class or an age when it's okay to back up your brother. You know what I'm saying? My brother is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He may be wrong, but he's right in my eyes.
Mm.
No one can talk about my brother but me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the comments that Mr. Clare had made. Listen, he may be right in some instances, but let's look at the broader picture.
Mm-hmm.
Look at who he was dressing. We're not talking about what he said, you know, because words are words.
Yeah.
Look at the context. Look where it was said.
Mm-hmm.
Look at his reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So many may interpret it as a joke, he's being funny, or he's being sarcastic, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you this much. For every bad boy, there's a good boy.
Of course.
For every man that's in prison, I know that there are a lot of innocent persons there as well.
That's true.
For every person who is in prison who has done something bad, I could show you someone on the street who's good.
Several, yes.
Several. So let's stay away from this. Oh, the young boy is bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't have a mother, you don't have a father in your life. And I mean, there are special cases where you have absent fathers, but you do also have cases where, and I won't talk with nobody else, I'll talk with me.
Yeah.
My father wasn't around.
Okay.
And I turned out pretty well. I turned out pretty good.
You probably had a support system though, right?
Well, I will say, don't all children have support systems?
Not necessarily. Sometimes some children's support system is the street, and that's.
Well, I'll tell you this much: I was one of those young men. My lady was strict.
Yeah.
I still told my backside when I did things out of the way.
Yeah.
Nothing different than what anybody else out here. I think it all boils down to choice. What some people you could either choose, make the sacrifice to stay on the right track, or fall by the wayside and turn into a life of crime if it isn't beneficial to you. If you're doing everything the right way and you have patience, you're going to lose your way and you're going to fall by the wayside and get engulfed in things that are skullduggish. But anyway,
I appreciate
great contribution. Great show as always.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, and I definitely appreciate your perspective. You're right. There are a lot of young boys that are doing well. But we got to make sure that we reach in and grab the ones that aren't doing so well. And this is why rites of passage is so important. I think we need to become familiar with what rites of passage. Today we have confirmation in church and different things like that, which is really built off of the reality of what a rite of passage really was. But your community carried you through the socializing process. It wasn't just the school or the church. The community had standards that even the church and the schools ultimately had to respect. And because we've lost, I don't understand what it is, but you were held accountable. I went through rite of passage. And when I went through rite of passage, the men held us as young men accountable. The women held the young women accountable. You understand? Let me get these last two calls, and then I'll read something to get us out of the show. Go ahead, caller. Caller going once? All right, let's go to the next caller. Caller going once?
Hi. Good day, Mr.
Hey, how you doing?
Mr. Uncle Sarah.
How you doing?
I'm calling back again. And listen, I don't want a lot of people is calling you and
they beat you up, hey. They say you need to go visit Dr. Higgs, man.
I need to visit who?
Dr. Higgs, Jacinta Higgs down there at Catherine International. In a beautiful way. They was just saying
I know about that.
Yeah, she's very well versed in history.
Yeah, all right. I'm only calling you because I know time.
Go ahead.
All right, sir. And please answer me, or including for Sparky. Answer me honestly.
Yes.
All right. And let me tell you this, okay? Logos.
Yeah.
Logos, West Africa. You know about that, right?
Lagos. Okay, yeah, Nigeria. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On the end there, did any black man go in there? No, did any white man go in there and bring out black slaves?
Yes, let me explain why.
White man?
Nigeria was not.
No.
Listen. You asked me from Nigeria. My family is from there. So you asked me about Nigeria. I'm from Abeokuta. When we left Abeokuta, it wasn't Nigeria. The white man came in and named it Nigeria. It was black people didn't name that country Nigeria. So if white people could come in and change the whole name of the country, you don't think they could come in and take people? I'm here because they took us. Now, did black people participate in it? Of course. We were under duress. The same way they had Jews putting other Jews in Hitler's ovens. They were in Hitler's army. Jews were in Hitler's army. Jews were putting other Jews in the oven. But we don't tell them that they shouldn't talk about their Holocaust.
Okay, I agree with you. You speaking about the reparations.
No, we didn't really talk about it full on today. But go ahead.
Sir, I'm asking you this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you about years and years and years ago, before when the slave trade, when it started, the triangular trade then.
Yes, go ahead.
Right?
Yes.
Did any, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was a black, and I can tell you, and I need to go into this further, because I'm very versed in it. For rum, for guns, and for, I think it was, anyway, You know, white man was stupid enough to go into West Africa and don't ask.
So I understand the point. So I understand the point.
White man going in there.
Listen. I understand the point that you're making. You're saying that they stayed on the coast. I understand. I agree with you on that. Were there black people who were complicit or were a part of bringing blacks out of the interior? Yes, you're right about that. The context of the conversation, however, is being skewed, whereby you now are saying that the people who had nothing to do with the economic model, they had nothing to do with the Berlin Conference, they had nothing to do with the finance and the economics that helped to build Europe while underdeveloping Africa, while underdeveloping the Caribbean. These black people had nothing to do with that, right? But now you want to take everything that was gained by the European and say that these black people caused that? So why aren't they benefiting from it?
I'm not saying that black people caused it.
Okay.
I'm asking you this question. I coming off the phone after that.
Yeah, because I got another caller.
Any white man ever go in that West Coast right there?
So I need you since you keep asking about the white man, I need you to look up the King Leopold. You ever heard of him?
Am I wrong or right?
I'm asking you a question. Have you ever heard of King Leopold?
No, I'm listening. Oh, give me the question.
Leopold, white man. He's one. King Leopold. Go look up King Leopold and the Congo.
They come after slavery.
No. He was very much a part of what you're calling slavery today. Look up King Leopold, all right? I got to go to the next caller. We'll talk about more on Friday. Thank you so much. Caller, you're live.
Good morning, Uncle. Just a quick.
Go ahead.
Just have a few minutes. You know, all you have to do is go look to the Pope apology that just was given.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what happens is, this is why a good article I just sent it to you that appeared in the Guardian on May 18.
Mm-hmm.
You do not believe what you see. You see what you believe,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that you're taught. And so this is why I'm just simply saying, I listen, most of it I'll catch it later or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so this is why it's important that as we move forward, more so in the Bahamas, we must choose empowerment over conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Education should not merely fill our mind. It should free the person.
Yeah.
And empowered citizens demand better school, better housing, stronger families, stronger communities, fairer systems, because they understand that knowledge without agency is chaos. Agency without knowledge is chaos.
Yes.
The future belongs to people educated not to obey the world as it is, but empowered to build as it ought to be.
Amen.
And we are in the best condition in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that we have leadership who have been educated to think a particular way. And so, like you say, you train animals, not to call them animals, but once they have been taught that, and you use the word cemented, and they have become cemented in their thinking.
Yeah.
And so we need a disruption,
Mm-hmm.
and the era we're in right now gives us access to the resources that makes us equal with them, and we are now giving it away with even I see software like Oracle and all these other different things, because the very things they're giving us to use to make us better, not what we want, they're giving us what they want us to have, is actually a capture doctrine, doctrine where we give the data we need to build the future we should have.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's try to get one more call before we get out of here. Call you live.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, man, good show as usual. And this is another lady represents your show is so important, man. You know, because you think you think there's something called slavery education.
Yeah, we living in it.
All right then. So that's the point I'm making, because you know if you can't even phantom, like we like to say, that there's a possibility that your slave master is responsible for you being a slave, right? That's a very dangerous situation, man. You know.
Yeah.
But Leopold and those fellas, they kill millions and millions of black
chopping off people hand and foot,
and cause them to have the same type of mental attitude what the lady expressed in the date.
Yeah.
Right?
I can address it properly on Friday, though. Trust me.
Yeah, well, please do, because it's just the ignorance. There's no disrespect. It's just ignorance, and a lot of people need to be informed and enlightened.
Thank you so much. Again, we got a lot of work to do with our children in general. Our young boys cannot be left behind. The young girls cannot be left behind. We got to make sure that we find out first and foremost what actually happened to us. All right. Someone asked me, is Dr. Hicks? Yes, she's still the director over there at Catherine. So you definitely need to go down there if you want to get your child into the school. My name again is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enos III, also known as Calhoun Anku Sarah. The Talking Heads are up next. And MJ, so keep it locked here on radio. Fresh news, smart talk, all day in the Master family.
Certainly won't be televised, Snapchatted, or tweeted. Any admission is essentially asking for permission. An easy way to know your ET